Parikshit, what are you doing sitting over here?
Yeah, I am thinking over this sentence. It includes the all alphabets of English.
Which one is that?
The sentence is a quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog.
Is it so?
Yeah.
You mean to say that it's having all the alphabets of English?
Yeah.
Let me think over it once. A quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Yeah, you are quite right. It's having all the sentences. See, this language goes like this only. In a simple sentence, we are having many parts, many elements of English. And this carries on when we go forward for a paragraph or the word sentences, because it's having many elements of English which are interwoven with the tenses. It's an interesting language.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Can you
Yeah.
elaborate this briefly?
How would you like to have it? Okay, let me have a story. Let me tell you a story. In this story, you see, uh, when we make a line, then it carries to the paragraph, then to a passage, then to a story, a novel. It contains everything of tenses, of parts, of prepositions, of like noun and verb. And but there is a thing. If I will tell you a story, you have to answer me after the story. What I'll ask you. Are you ready for that?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Let me think over a story. See, I'm going to tell you a very interesting story of a cop. It's going to be a suspensive kind of story. You have to think and listen it very carefully. So the story goes like this. There was a cop, a chief Roger, his name. He. This is a scene in his town called Northbury. He sits in a cruiser as if he's arresting 3 kids, local kids, and he was there to take them to the police station because he was mentioning them bandits, as I think they have done some robbery or something. So the town is very small and hence having very less crime there. The cop, which I called you Roger, used to be play with the local kids the game of cops and robber.
Okay.
And why he used to play this game? Just to lesson them, just to slip the lessons of very good citizens to being a good citizens, far from the ill elements of the social social ground there. So he wants them to be good citizen, and that's why because he was not having very much job, he used to play these games with the kids there.
Why he was arrested these kids in his cruiser and mentioned them as bandits?
Oh, actually, you are not getting my point. They were not the real bandits. They were his partner, his playmates. You can say them. And as I told you, they used to be in this kind of games, so that through games he can teach them what is good and what is wrong. So just to be with them, just to remove the social evils from the society, he used to treat or teach the children in such a way. So they were sitting there in his cruiser, and suddenly he calls a very emergent information from the mayor of the Northbury. The mayor of the Northbury used to be a lady, and her name was Charlotte. So Charlotte calls him, and because he has to go there, he leaves that game which he was playing with the kids in between, and just appears there in front of the mayor. What happens there? When he went there, he find that she was seeming quite disturbed, and that's why he asks her what happened to her. She was really very tempered, angry, because the very next day they were going to have a winter festival there, and for this 6 big blocks of ice delivered in that town. And as always, the mayor kept those ice blocks in the park. The park was in the middle of the town, and that's why everyone keep eye on the park. So what disheartening thing happened that today morning they found that the ice blocks which delivered yesterday were all smashed, and it is really a worst thing for the town, because the winter festival which they are going to celebrate the very next day, in that the ice sculpting was the most attractive part of the festival, and this very part used to draw hundreds of people, hundreds of tourists there. So now when that big bricks of ice, they were smashed into the piles of ice chunks, it was really disheartening for the mayor as well as for the town people, and shocking for that Roger also. And she said that it was a very worst thing. Then they had once a blizzard there in the town, and it destruct the things, destruct the charms going to the next
What is
day.
the meaning of blizzard?
Blizzard, very true, very true. Let me explain you. Blizzard is a kind of snowstorm which left only lots of snow on the ground. So it's a very stormy snowstorm situation, and they faced it earlier also. But this thing is far more serious than that. So now what she wants that the Roger, whom that mayor she thinks as a very burly cop, because he always spend his time in playing with the local kids. She wants him to just figure it out that what happened. So he orders him that when he was shocked, he said, "No, what I have to do? Who did this?" Then the mayor said, "This you have to figure out."
What did that mean, figuring out?
See, Parikshit, figure out means that cop Roger has to now find the actual culprit. He has to find how it happened. He has to find, means you can say that he has to resolve the thing.
Okay.
This means figure out. So he has to figure out that what happened last night and who is the culprit there. So for this, actually, once a few years earlier, Roger also suggested this thing to the mayor, that they have to keep this, they should keep actually this ice in somewhere else, some more secure place. But at that time, that mayor laughed at Roger. She laughed at him, saying this, that it is in the view of everyone, because it is in middle of the town, so everyone watches the ice. So this thing happened with him, and because he has to figure out, he went out from there, he went to the park, he saw there, and he found that everything except that ice was absolutely right. The icicles were hanging perfectly as they were from the trees, and the view was same. Nothing was distracted except that ice blocks, where it should be 6 proper blocks of ice, now there are 6 piles of ice chunks. So now nothing left. That Roger has to find it, that who has done this. So he just passed from that park, he crossed the street, and he went to the diner there. So this is all come in the second part. First
Hello,
part
dude.
of the
What's
story.
up? What you two are doing here?
Hi Sushmit.
Hi,
Hello.
yeah, we are discussing about the interesting story,
Oh. What is the story about?
The story is all about cops and robbers.
It's a really very suspensive story, good story. You can join if you want to, please.
Yes. Please tell me about the story.
The story is all about cops and robbers. There was a cop in the Peninsula.
Northbury, yeah.
Yeah, Northbury, Peninsula City, and he always play with the local kids. And the mayor of his station does not like to play.
It's like him to play with the
Cops,
kids
local
and
kids.
cops, yeah. You want to join us? It's going to be a very suspensive and interesting story.
Yes.
If you please. So shall we proceed, Parikshit? Sushmit, you also want to listen to the story?
Yes.
But again, you have to come in the same game which I have kept with the Parikshit, that you have to answer my questions after listening to the story.
सामने हो ना ओके मैम ये लाइन दोबारा बोलो
ठीक है ये वाली
ये वाली लास्ट वाली
Okay, but if you want to join us, then again you have to be also in the same condition which I kept with the Parikshit, that you have to answer my questions.
Yes.
Because if I'm telling you the story and you are finding really interest in this story, I too want to know how much you gained from this story. It may include any type of questioning inquiries from you, including the grammatical portion of English also. Fine?
Yeah.
So now, is it clear what all happened in the first part?
Yeah,
Let me
yeah.
give you a brief. A mayor called a cop to just find out that what happened to the ice blocks which was delivered a day before the winter festival in the place that is in the mid of the town. So now the ball is in Roger's court. He has to find actually what happened last night, because it's a kind of his test also which that man wants to take, and really a very serious matter for all the people of Northbury, because the game, the festival and this ice sculpting competition is going to be incredible there. So now all were not happy after listening the incident which happened. So what happened, Parikshit and Sushmit? Now let me take you two in this. Roger goes to the diner where many people were having their meals and their, you can say, snacks and tea at that time. So he goes there to find out if anybody there know anything about that incident. So he goes, he inquires there about the incident. He asks to many people, but nobody was knowing anything about this incident. And why it happened so? Because the night when it happened, that was wind chill night. The temperature was lower than 0 degree that day, that night, and so all already locked them up before 9 at their places. They were just warming themselves in front of fireplace, and nobody bothered what is happening outside. So he didn't found even a single person who can throw any light that what really happened that day. So he thought to go back to his investigation without wasting any time there. But suddenly when he was just to move from the diner, he looked upon 6 teenagers who were sitting there, and they were very suspiciously staring at Roger. So he went close to them. After going there, he asks them that if anybody know anything about the same incident about which he was asking. So they all nod their head, and they really were not knowing anything, but still they guessed something, and one of them said that it may be the work of Riverview. And what is Riverview? Riverview is a nearby town with the Northbury, who also used to celebrate the same winter festival, but at a very small scale. And it was always there. They were just trying to steal the people, the visitors of Northbury festival, so that they can make their festival in a charming way. So when they said that it may be from that Riverview side, this theory appealed Roger. So Shmit, why don't you sit if you're having...
Explain ma'am what theory it is.
Acha, the theory. See, the theory was that just because to steal the visitors of Northbury, the tourists, the people, the gathering of Northbury, maybe they can do that thing. mean they can smash that eye so that all the tourists draws towards their side. That's why this theory I am talking about here, this theory appealed Roger that it may possible. So, but still this was not the solid reason to conclude anything. So he decides, as he decides to move from there, suddenly he sees a girl. That particular girl, because why she attracted his attention, because she was sitting there, she was nibbling her bread and was seeming something very confused. When he thoroughly had a look upon her, he finds that he used to play with her and her brother when they were little. So that time she used to be very, normally also she used to be very chatty and very frank, hilarious kind of girl. But this time she was seeming very different. So Roger suspects something about her. He was having a very strong feeling that something is there which she can tell him. But instead of directly pointing to her or asking her, what he did, he just went closer to that group and he said very firmly to the teenagers, to the kids there, that okay fine, I'm going back to my investigation, and intentionally said, he just took his business card from his wallet and intentionally he set that business card in front of that girl, and her name was Emma. So he placed his business card in front of Emma and pointing to all those who were sitting there, he said that okay, if you have anything to tell me about the incident, you can mail me, you can call me at this number, or even you can text me also. So like this, he placed that business card especially in front of that girl and just get away from that diner. He was just there to start his car. He sat inside his cruiser there. He turned on his heater to make that frost layer from away from his windscreen, and he was just to move from there. Suddenly his phone buzzes and he unlocks the phone and finds an unknown number, the number which he does not recognize, a text from that number, and the text was saying that it is about the last night's incident, and some pictures were attached with that, and it was also written that please don't tell anybody that I have told you, because I don't want my parents to come to know about this, that I was out last night. And the pics which he sees made him shocked. The pictures were dark as well as blurry, but still the pictures were revealing everything. And you know whom he found in those pictures? The personality who was there was the Mayor Charlotte herself, with his assistant, and there were good number of pictures, and the pictures were showing that they were just attacking on that ice blocks with the sledgehammers and making into pieces. He was really shocked, and suddenly, just at that time only, he saw above from his windscreen, and the girl, Amy, was waving and smiling from that window at him, and in a mixed gesture of thanks and shocking, the Roger also waved at her and went away, drove away from there. And straightforward he went to the Charlotte, the mayor of the town. He just slams all the print of the pictures in front of her table. On that table he slams that. And when she saw those pictures, she was shocked. She gazed, first she saw the pictures and then she gazed at him, and unintentionally it came from from her, that how you did it. You were barely a cop. You always spend your time playing with the kids of the town. How you did this? And he said, it is all what you said, ma'am, that all are watching the eyes. So I followed that thing only because it is in the center. So there were the people who watched you, and that's why I got these pictures. And after there was many a thing, lot of things with Charlotte to explain or to just make her part safe. She said that time that it is all that I did for the town only. This is all I did for the good for Northbury people. She said this also, that you must ask her what kind of good she was going to do with this type of act. Actually, her aspect was that she did it for advertisement, for a free ad, for a free ad campaign which can give a great publicity to the town, because everyone are after this going to be make a report on this incident, that this happened with the before the winter festival and so blah blah blah. So this all she explained to Roger to make her part safe. But Roger was Roger, because he really loved his town from his heart. He never did anything just to make show off, and without feeling any soft corner for the Charlotte, he simply handcuffed her, arrested her, and he said that I don't want the pity of other people towards my town. So there's no such good great reason which supports your this act. And so he arrested him for destroying the public property, the people's property. He arrested her and just put her to the jail, and there he said that let me go out to find your partner also, so that I can sell him also. And that's way the next very day when they were celebrating the winter festival there, he was just finding everyone to have a gossip about Charlotte while they were having the sip of their hot chocolate drinks, and people were shocked there. And one very trustworthy person of the Northbury called Jess, he just came there with a petition in his hand to make a sign from Roger also, and the petition was that they want to change mayor. He even proposed Roger that we want, or the people here want to see you as a mayor here. But he refused that proposal. Very good, great proposal. He refused because he said that I love my job, so I don't want to go for this kind of your proposals. Thank you. And again, in this novel we find that he again get busy with playing the kids there over in that winter. So wasn't it a very good story?
Yeah, it's very amazing and interesting story.
Did you find the interest? Have you got something from the story? Okay, then if it is really so, and if you understood my story so firmly, so next the thing is about the my exercise which I would like to. If you have understood, are you ready for the question parts?
Yes.
So let me explain you what kind of question I am going to ask you.
Okay.
I want to know the vocabulary you have collected from the piece of story which I just told you. You have to tell me that. But it's not going to be so simple as you are thinking.
Okay.
You have to tell me the vocabulary, the words you have collected,
Okay.
as well as you have to label them whether they are noun, verb, adjectives and verbs.
Okay.
And as I think it's very easy for you to just distinguish the words in these categories, but still for the other viewers I must say, I want to tell them the noun are going to be the names of the words, of the things, of the places, means names of anything comes in the section of noun. Rest your verbs, all the action words, the names of the actions are verbs. Adverbs, if any word tells the quality or the disquality, something more about the verb, are going to be categorized under adverb. Adjectives are those words which tell more about the noun, about the subject. So the quality words appreciating the nouns are your adjectives. So are you ready?
Yeah.
So first, Parishit, I want to know from you what all you have collected.
Yeah, there are some words which comes in my mind. It is blizzard,
Blizzard. Yeah, blizzard.
icicles.
You have to tell me also what this blizzard comes under.
The blizzard comes under, I think it's noun.
Yeah, really good. Blizzard is noun.
Yeah, ice chunks.
Ice
It is
chunks.
it is also a noun.
Just a noun.
Yeah.
There are two. It's a composition of two words, ice and chunks.
Yeah.
Ice chunks completely is a noun. But can you categorize this something else or?
Figuring out it's a verb.
Figuring out is a verb, but I'm asking about ice chunks. Here you see, ice chunks. Ice chunks completely, collectively is a noun. But when we think over it, chunk is noun, and so we can make ice as adjective also.
Okay.
Because what kind of chunk is that of? That is of ice.
Ice chunk.
So here, if you take in this collection alone ice, and ice is going to be your adjective.
Adjective.
Very good. And what rest you said? The next one.
The next one is figuring out.
Figuring out,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
Figuring
a
out
verb.
is verb. Very fine. Figuring out is
Yeah,
verb. The same thing you have asked me also. What does this mean? Figuring out?
Yeah.
Oh, that's why it's remained you.
Yeah.
Okay, then fine.
And delivering
Delivery.
is also verb.
Delivering. Verb. Yeah. What they delivered in this play? Ice blocks.
Ice blocks.
They have delivered those ice blocks which were got smashed.
Yeah.
Okay, rest then.
Then icicles.
Icicles. What this icicles is?
The icicles, I think it is made of ice or snow.
It's a long pointing ice which hang somewhere off with something.
Yeah.
That is icicles. Then
Then windshield.
windshield.
Windshield and
And what is windshield is?
the wind. I think windshield it is used.
No,
in,
is it what part of element it?
Yeah, I
How
think
it is headed?
it's a noun. It's a noun.
It's a noun.
Yeah.
It's a noun. Then anything else?
Uh,
Now Sushmita, it's your turn. You have to also tell me.
Vocabulary striking to me, drafty.
Drafty.
It is adjective.
Adjective.
Wind chill.
Wind chill.
I think it is noun.
Wind chill. Yeah. Wind chill means very cool, very freezy. Yeah.
Just stayed. In this, just is adjective and stayed is verb.
Okay, just stayed. Okay, just stayed.
Just stayed.
Locked up.
Locked up.
Verb. It is verb.
Locked up is a verb. Yeah. Where we found this locked up in this story, you know? All the people of the North Puri, because it was very low, 0 degree temperature, so they all locked up themselves. Yeah. In their rooms. Yeah.
Blurry.
Blurry.
It is adjective, I think.
Blurry. Because those pics were blurry
Yeah.
and dark. Yeah. Very good.
Buzzes.
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 Buzzes is what?
I think noun.
No. Roger's phone buzzes.
Verb. Verb.
Yeah,
It is verb.
buzzes is verb.
Verb.
Because his phone buzzes here. You are saying.
Okay.
You can make it noun also. When you say it like this, that I heard a buzz, then it's a noun.
Noun.
But the phone buzzes here because in this article it is used as a verb. See, I also want to tell you, the viewers also, the words particularly are not noun, not verb, not adjective, not adverbs. It is just their usage which make them noun, pronoun, verb, adjective, adverbs. They come under this heading as we use them. Likewise, I want to give you an example. Simply if you think book, B-O-O-K, book. Book, in the first frame, it comes as a noun. But we can use it as verb also, as adjective also. How it goes, let me explain you. If I say that I bought a book, here a thing which I bought is book. So it's absolutely a noun. But when I say, please book my seat in today's bus, yeah, book my seat in RTC bus. So here book is going to be a verb. So same B-O-O-K, book, in the second section we have used as verb. In first it was noun, in second it was verb. And if we want to use it as adjective, then also we can use it like, this is a booked seat. So here seat is noun, and what kind of seat it is? It is booked. So booked is framed as adjective here. So it is just the usage of your word which makes them under the section you want to make it. So you answered very well. Where you stuck up, where you want the brushing up, I made that for you. Second thing I want to ask you is under the heading of prepositions. You know what prepositions are?
Yeah, prepositions. I think it's a prepositions.
Prepositions are the words which relate the part of the sentence with the other. It sets up, it establishes a relation between a word with the other word in the same sentence. So for example, you can take it as at, on, before, beside, with, in between, under. Yeah, now you are getting, because the words are there, you are memorizing now the words.
Yeah.
But as per definition, it goes like this. So are you ready for this second
Yes, yeah, we are ready.
questioning round?
We are ready.
Okay. I'm having a question paper here which I have a draft for you.
Okay.
See. For you, if you want to go through this, the clips are given on your screen, so you can make the link there. But here it is, the first one is the kids. We are talking about the same kids.
Okay.
Those who are in cruiser.
Yeah.
The kids smile, dash, they jump out.
Yeah. I think it's as.
As they jump
yeah.
out, because the options were while, at, as, if. So here it will come as. The kids smile as they jump out. The second one is Charlotte, you know, now the main character there. The Charlotte sounds dash than usual.
Angry.
What you say, Parikshit?
I think it's.
The options are angrily, angriest, angry, and angrier.
I think it's angrily.
Charlotte sounds angrily than usual. What was your answer, Sushmit?
Angry.
Angry. Here, see how Charlotte is sounding. Here, there is going to be comparison. So when we use any comparison, we use the comparative degree. So here it will come angrier.
Oh.
Charlotte sounds angrier than usual.
Yeah, angry.
Okay. The ice dash delivered yesterday was, were, had or been.
Was. I think was.
Very true, very true. It was. It is was here. His theory actually dash a lot of sense.
I think it makes a lot of sense
Why not does, is, has?
because made it clear.
Makes.
That makes,
And theory
yeah.
is a singular part,
Yeah.
so it makes.
it clear.
Very true. The rest, there are piles of ice where there dash be blocks.
I think it's have.
Where there have be blocks, how it could go?
Have blocks. I think it's have blocks.
What about you?
I think have.
There are piles of ice where there should be. It's
Should be.
showing a
Yeah.
future concept. जहाँ ये होना चाहिए थे, where there should be blocks.
Block.
So the correct answer here is going to be should. Roger wants to dash a glass of eggnog. Eggnog, you know.
No.
What is eggnog? Roger wants to dash a glass of eggnog. What it is symbolizes? Is it giving you some hint?
Eggnog.
Eggnog is a drink. Drink made up with milk, egg, sugar.
Okay.
So it is just to It's a very warming drink, welcoming drink, which mostly people use to have in carnivals, and like hot chocolate drink, like other we used to take. So eggnog, mostly we take it in winter season.
Okay.
So Roger wants to dash a glass of eggnog.
He gets a glass of eggnog, I think.
I think it got.
Roger wants to got. If he wants to, it cannot be past on. It can't be the past. Roger wants to
Get.
get.
Okay, get.
Get. Why you are thinking gets? Why you said gets? Because Roger is singular
Oh yeah.
and verb will take S. But here the prominent verb is want.
Wants.
So S is connected already with wants. So
Yeah.
here it will come get. Roger wants to get a glass of eggnog. So is it clear to you?
Yeah.
Yes.
How the things in language goes with noun, adjective, adverbs,
Yeah.
prepositions.
Yeah.
So this is all about the basic grammatical portion which we carried with this piece of story here, and the small exercises which we did with my friends and you. I hope you will like it, and if you want to do more, please be with us. Now we are going to provide you some questions. Each question will carry the 4 options with it. You have to choose the correct option out of the given options, and like that you have to do all the questions. In the last, as per your given your selected choices, you will come to know about the result, that how much correct you have done. And after these questions, we'll explain you all the parts of the speech elaboratively. So please be with us with this exercise portion.